My name is Mark French. When I first learned about the vaccine that it was available, I wasn't really hesitant to get it, but I just at the time I didn't have time to do it, and so it kind of just progressed, and I ended up because my job requires me to travel a lot. There was no good time, seeing as I had to have 2 shots and I had to schedule the second one. I never knew if I was going to be available for that second shot. So that was probably the biggest reason, time was probably the biggest reason I initially didn't get vaccinated. I am vaccinated now, and the reason for getting vaccinated was I got COVID. Back in July, I was tested positive for COVID. From that point, they admitted me, which was probably the scariest thing, because once they admit you for COVID, you're not allowed any family members to visit you for 21 days. So I couldn't even have my wife with me during this whole period that I was going through. That was a difficult time, and not only for her, obviously, but for me as well. Just having the comfort of having family with you when you're going through this, it was very, not only physically a very scary time, but emotionally as well. You have to prepare yourself for what's possible, which is getting on a ventilator. That's probably the worst thing or the scariest thing that people with COVID, they don't want to be on a ventilator, and I was one of those. I got to a point where I literally could not breathe, and they were about to put me on a ventilator, but as it turned out, they gave me forced oxygen, which is they put a full face mask on you and basically force oxygen into your lungs. They also started me on the remdesivir, which is basically the treatment for COVID, and those 2 things combined seemed to get me over the hump to where I did not have to be on a ventilator, and helped in my recovery process, although it was a long, drawn-out process that I had to go through. Once I was released from the hospital, I knew then and there that I did not want to experience COVID again. So I waited probably 2 weeks, got my first vaccine. I got the Pfizer vaccine, and actually I just had my second vaccine yesterday. I really didn't have any side effects after the first one or the second one. I don't know if that's related to the fact that I had COVID already, so I already had some of the antibodies in me, but I didn't feel any side effects from either shot. But nothing that I've talked to that people have gotten vaccinated, they say the side effects last about a day, if that, and then everything's fine. So other than a little soreness in my arm, that was about it. Comparing a vaccine to having COVID to me, is no comparison. I mean, COVID, you literally feel like, you're suffocating. And it's a feeling that, I told my wife that to me, to compare it, the feeling, it's like somebody had tied a plastic bag over your head and you literally just could not breathe. And that's a scary thing. For anybody that has not gotten the vaccine, I'm not one to try to tell people what to do, but I would certainly encourage people to get vaccinated after going through COVID. And I think there's probably a lot of people that have not gotten vaccinated that think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, or it's not that bad. I've heard of people that have a cough or something for a day or two, and that's it. But I can tell you that I never expected to get COVID, and after having gone through it, it's something that I never want to go through again. And if it takes a couple shots in the arm, hey, that's minor, very minor compared to actually going through and having COVID. So I would definitely encourage people to get vaccinated, because it's trust me, if you've gone through it, you never want to go through it again.